Joining us in a CNBC exclusive interview is Spirit Airlines CEO Ted Christie, along with our own Phil LeBeau. Take it away, Phil.
Scott, thank you very much. Ted, thanks for joining us today from the Spirit headquarters down in Miramar, Florida. Let's talk about these cancellations. You now have, by my calculations, about 300,000 passengers since Sunday who have been on canceled flights. This is at the height of vacation season. What do you say to your customers who basically have been left high and dry at the airport?
Well, you start with an apology, Phil. It's been a very, very difficult week for the guests on Spirit, for the Spirit team, and one that we're not at all happy with. And we have to apologize to all of our guests and to our teams who are working extremely hard to get our guests going to the right place, get our airline back on track, and get things moving in what is a very busy travel season.
Ted, what happened? I know yesterday when you talked with some reporters, you said, look, we just couldn't get in front of this. That's kind of a vague answer. What specifically caused so many cancellations that you've been unable to get, the system back reset?
Well, it starts with a very challenging operating month of July, that culmination of weather and staffing shortages, both at airports and at airline support industries as well, travel and logistics, transportation, fuel transportation, those sorts of things that began to culminate throughout the course of the month and really cascade into more and more delays. We were running later and later throughout the course of the month, doing our best to hang on and keep the airline moving, so knowing it was a busy travel season, we want to get people to where they want to go. But it did force the airline to continue to run later and later. And when that happens, the crews start to time out. And they run out of duty periods. And when that happens, we start canceling for crews. And if you can't get in front of that activity, the crews become dislocated. They're in the wrong places at the wrong time. And that becomes a bit of a puzzle exercise for the crew scheduling team to solve that. And it takes time for them to be able to do that. And we give them that time by canceling more, which obviously can create more dislocation. So this happens in airlines, and you can usually move your way through it, sometimes seamlessly. No one ever notices because we built in quite a bit of redundancy into the airline with spare aircraft and additional reserves and crews. But unfortunately, because of it was such a difficult month, we ate into a lot of that slack throughout the course of the month, and it's proven to be very challenging to get in front of it. The good news is that lately we finally started to make progress. Today is going to be better than yesterday, and we expect to continue to improve here throughout the course of the weekend, such that by the time we hit the earlier middle part of next week, we're running back to where we want to be. And it's going to take us some time to earn back the trust and confidence of the traveler, but we're going to do that.
Ted, usually when a company is going through this, when an airline's going through this, I understand that it takes a couple of days to reset the system, but some people are looking at this and they're saying a week and a half? I mean, if you're a customer for Spirit Airlines, what confidence do you have if you have a flight on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday that flight is going to take off?
Well, I would suspect that confidence is shaken right now, and that would be understandable. It has taken us longer than we wanted to start the recovery. We are on the recovery right now and moving in the right direction, but you're right. We've seen disruptions across networks even this year and this summer, and they do, a couple of days, 2 or 3 or 4 days of disruption. And in normal circumstances, we would have expected that here too. I think what we were trying to do early on was to keep as much flying in the network as possible, knowing that everyone's been full throughout the course of the month. And cancellations are extremely challenging close in when you have no seats available across the entire industry for people to get to where they want to go. So we were holding on as much flying as we could, and probably in hindsight should have done more earlier on to stem the breadth of this particular disruption. But we got to where we got to. We're fixing it now. And then the challenge will be going forward. How do we learn from this, and what do we do to get better?